On March 13th, 1997, over 10,000 people watched something cross the Arizona sky, and the government's explanation doesn't add up. It wasn't a single sighting. It wasn't a blip on a radar that vanished in seconds. What happened over Phoenix that night unfolded in two distinct waves, separated by hours, witnessed by thousands of independent observers across a 100-mile stretch. Pilots, police officers, doctors, teachers, people with zero reason to fabricate a story. So what did they see? Exhibit 1, the first event. Around 8:15 p.m., witnesses reported a massive, silent object moving south from Nevada into Arizona airspace. Not a formation of planes, not a weather balloon, a single structured craft. Some described it as mile-wide. Hundreds of people called 911. The Phoenix Police Department's own dispatch logs are public record. Those calls came in, they happened. The craft made no sound. It moved at impossible angles for conventional aircraft, hovering, accelerating, changing direction without banking. Witnesses in Prescott, Phoenix, and Tucson, towns separated by vast distances, described identical details they couldn't have coordinated. Same shape, same color, same eerie silence. Exhibit 2, the second event. 2 hours later, around 10 p.m., the sky lit up again. This time, witnesses reported a series of lights. Some said a mile-long object with rectangular light panels. Others described discrete objects hovering stationary over the Phoenix metropolitan area for nearly 5 minutes. Stationary, not drifting, not moving, just there. What makes this credible? The witnesses weren't fringe believers. Dr. Lynn Kaidai, a respected Emmy-nominated documentary filmmaker, was there. She recorded footage. Governor Fife Symington attended a press conference days later and in front of cameras publicly ridiculed the sightings, then 10 years later admitted he'd seen the object himself. He witnessed it, and he'd mocked it. Exhibit 3, the military response. Luke Air Force Base, located 30 miles west of Phoenix, issued a statement the next day. They claimed the objects were military flares that moved against the wind, flares that maintained formation, flares that hovered in place. The physics don't work, and pilots, actual military pilots, called the explanation absurd. Here's the problem with the flare theory. Flares burn bright, descend rapidly, and drift with air currents. Every pilot knows this. The objects on March 13th didn't behave that way. They maintained altitude, they moved deliberately. Some witnesses reported watching them for minutes, impossible if they were burning flares. Exhibit 4, the documentation. Over the decades, researchers compiled hundreds of witness testimonies, video recordings, photographs, and official documents. The National UFO Reporting Center cataloged more than 700 reports from that single night, 700, from independent sources across Arizona. But here's where skeptics push back. They argue mass hysteria. They say one report triggered others. That social contagion explains everything. That people saw something mundane and misinterpreted it. It's possible. Collective delusion has happened before. Except the first wave of sightings occurred before the media reported anything. People in isolated areas, drivers on rural roads, residents in small towns called 911 and described details before hearing a single news broadcast. How does mass hysteria trigger before the hysteria is even broadcast? Exhibit 5, the consistency problem. Across hundreds of independent witness accounts, people who'd never met, lived in different towns, came from different backgrounds, the descriptions aligned. The object was massive, it was silent, it moved with intention. These aren't the hallmarks of mass hallucination, they're the hallmarks of a shared physical event. So what was it? The official explanation, military flares, doesn't match the physics. Mass hysteria doesn't explain pre-broadcast sightings. Conventional aircraft can't hover silently. That leaves us in uncomfortable territory. Something crossed Arizona skies that night. It was real, and we still don't know what it was. The government's been inconsistent. First, they denied anything happened, then they blamed flares, then they stopped commenting. That pattern, denial, deflection, silence, doesn't inspire confidence. It's the behavior of an institution that knows more than it's saying. What would you do if you witnessed that? Would you call 911? Would you grab a camera? Would you keep quiet? 10,000 Arizonans chose to report it. They chose to be part of the record, and the record still stands, unexplained. The Phoenix Lights remain one of the largest documented mass sighting events in modern history. It wasn't debunked, it wasn't solved. It was buried not by conspiracy, but by institutional indifference. Thousands of credible witnesses, mountains of evidence, and one explanation that doesn't fit the facts. The truth is somewhere in that gap between the official story and what people actually saw, and it's still waiting for someone willing to look. Subscribe. Each week we examine another case where the official story crumbles under scrutiny.